Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to make copies of miniature figurines using ImPRESSive Putty. So if you didn't know, ImPRESSive Putty is the easiest way to make molds and models. And if you're just getting started, make sure to check out my previous video where I showed you all the basics of mold making. So before we get started, I'm going to show you all the materials that we're going to be using today. Alright, so for today's molding project, I'm going to be using some ImPRESSive Putty that I have already used. The great thing about this putty is that you can use it as many times as you need. I'm also going to be using a 2-part epoxy resin for the cast. Now this putty works with a lot of different casting materials, so if you want to experiment with wax or silicone, urethane, or anything else, you definitely can. To add some life to my figurines, I'm also going to be using different color epoxy dyes as well. You will also need a microwave safe container to be able to make your putty malleable. I also recommend grabbing some gloves, mixing sticks, and some rubber bands if you have them handy. That's it. That's all we need to get started. So let's start making some figurines. Since we are reusing our putty, we only have to put it in the microwave safe container for about 30 seconds. Once it's done, we'll knead with a spoon to ensure malleability. If you're using the putty for the first time, you would want to knead the putty and then put it back in the microwave for an additional 15 seconds. But again, because we're reusing ours, we don't need to do that. Before we start making any type of mold, you want to let the putty sit for around 15 minutes to cool down to a comfortable working temperature. The putty does get hot, so don't rush the timing on this part. Once 15 minutes has passed, let's grab our figurine and start wrapping the putty around it. Make sure to press the putty into the model to get a higher detailed mold. Towards the bottom of our figurine, we have a flat area that we want to capture as well. To do this correctly, just flatten the putty around the base. I feel pretty confident about our mold so far. So now we're going to be putting in the freezer for about 30 minutes for the mold to set. Alright, after the time has passed, we can cut the mold to release the figure. In order for the mold to keep its shape, I'm going to be using rubber bands. And for the cast, like I said, I'm going to be using a 1-to-1 epoxy resin mixture that I have already dyed. As a pro tip, pouring slowly into your mold allows you to reduce air bubbles that you might see otherwise if you're using resin or urethane. For our set time for the cast, we're going to let it sit for 24 hours, though you really only need 12 to 16. See you soon. Hey everyone, I am back with the results. So if you remember, I am recreating this mini figurine here. Here we go, check this out. I am always so impressed by the final result anytime that I use the ImPRESSive Putty. I just really want to point out the detail that it's able to capture, from the little divots in the cape coming around. It even got the detail in the stand right here. It's really incredible. Honestly, I'm pretty stoked about it, so I would call this mold a success. So that's it. If you're looking for an easy and fun way to recreate and duplicate your minifigures for your tabletop games, then I highly recommend getting the ImPRESSive Putty. To find out more and get yours today, check out the link in the description.